Could it happen? This isn't even close.
This has been just total destruction.
The shocker of all shockers, the NCAA tournament has been turned upside down.
Soars the rim. Slam. Three. Big-time bucket for Ty Jerome. Take that.
This team has to keep working. It doesn't have the luxury of taking it easy and cruising because that won't cut it as the competition goes up.
Virginia put their foot on the accelerator. They never let off.
We're Virginia, and we're still trying to knock on that door and do something as special as we can.
I'm Adam Zucker, and welcome to Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance. Let's set our lineup for you today on CBS. In 30 minutes, you'll see number 3 Virginia and Notre Dame in an important ACC battle. And over on CBS Sports Network, 5 in a row. From Colgate and Loyola of Maryland right now to the end of the night with UNLV and San Diego State. And work until the end of the night, my studio partners, Seth Davis and Wally Zerbiak, rocking all season long on CBS Sports Network. Hey, your thoughts on this season so far? We have not sat together on this side of the hall yet.
The phenomenon that is Zion Williamson. I think there's a buzz around college basketball that hasn't been there for years. It's the most fun I'm having covering the sport because of that guy.
Well, Duke probably has the highest ceiling of any team in the country. I don't think there's any one best team. I think there's a top tier of 6 teams. However, tonight, Kentucky, I think, has a chance to enter in that conversation. If they play as well as I think they will against Kansas today, we got to start talking about the Wildcats as a Final Four national championship team.
Yeah, big one between top 10s later. Now, in our game today, we have a determined Virginia team whose redemption season had been perfect until last Saturday's detour at Duke. But the Cavaliers are still in the upper echelon of the ACC and probably, Seth, a number 1 seed at this point.
No question at this point. I think there's a good chance going into the tournament. I think a large reason is because of the one player they did not have in that loss to UMBC, and that's DeAndre Hunter as a junior forward, sophomore forward, excellent at slashing to the basket. Remember, he broke his wrist in the last game of the ACC tournament, so that was the first game they played without him against UMBC. I'm not saying that's an excuse for losing, but it certainly was a factor, and I think Hunter is a big reason why this is Tony Bennett's best offensive team in Charlottesville.
And another reason why it's his best offensive team is Kyle Guy. He has been shooting the ball like a flamethrower all season long. How about 45% from the three-point line? He can do it all kinds of different ways. Catch and shoot off pin downs, off the dribble, step backs. He's just been lighting it up from outside and from deep. And boy, can this team shoot the basketball led by him.
Yeah, 87% at the free throw line as well. And a short time ago, Bill Raftery caught up with Virginia head coach Tony Bennett.
How'd you get these kids to focus? Tony, after a great year last year, how'd you get these kids to focus on after that misstep at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think you grow from it. How you respond to it is always the key. And I like to think about, there's a verse that says, concern yourself with today, for tomorrow has enough concern of its own. And just being present. Again, growing and learning from the good and the hard of last year, and then being prepared. And, you know, the guys have done a really nice job this year, and every game is a new challenge. But I think we had a good offseason. And we're versatile this year, and you know we're going to get tested today.
What do you like about this team thus far this year?
I think the versatility. I think you know, DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, those are the big 3, and they're versatile. They can put it on the floor, they can shoot, but other players have really stepped up to give us some versatility, and there's a number of them. So the ability to be fairly smart and sound when needed, and play different lineups when needed, and I think that's been important.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bill.
The most consistent coach in college basketball. Year after year, he does it with defense. He wins with defense. And make no mistake, if DeAndre played in that game last year, they would not have lost that game. So that is behind them.
Behind them.
Yes. In my opinion, that would be my excuse.
The game is behind them.
Coach.
The questions are not behind them.
I think they're still thinking about it. As for Notre Dame, just 1-5 in ACC play, but have played better of late despite being unable to really get over the hump at the end of games. A big hill to climb this afternoon before having to host Duke on Monday night, Wally. Something else to think about.
Yes, it is. And, you know, this is going to be a big-time game when we go up with T.J. Gibbs is going to have to play well. He's really been struggling. Notre Dame is 1-5 in their last 6 games, and TJ Gibbs is a big reason why. He's only shooting 34% on the season. He has the capability to make shots, but there's only so much Mike Brey can do with his scheming. In the last 3 games, he's really been struggling shooting the ball, only averaging 8.3 points. So if he can get going and put the ball in the basket, it gives them a chance to pull off the upset against Virginia.
And, of course, them losing Rex Pfluger was just absolutely devastating because they were already sort of a thin team to begin with. But in his steed, John Mooney has really played very well. He's the guy who has stepped up offensively for Notre Dame, and he's going to have himself a big game today. Sort of your classic stretch four is a 6'9" junior forward, scores 14 points a game, 11 rebounds, but also shoots 43% from 3. He can finish around the rim a little bit now, so Virginia's going to have to account for him. But needless to say that Notre Dame's going to have to play at high efficient. You better
up with Notre Dame head coach Mike Brey earlier.
Mike, most coaches I know would be devastated with the injuries. You keep smiling and fighting through it.
You know what? We got a little bit of tough luck on that front, but I love this group, Bill, and they come in every day and work, and I think we're getting better. Obviously, we got a heck of a challenge today in Virginia, but what a great opportunity. We look at it as an opportunity.
Defensively, you like to mix it up. We think we'll see a little more zone today?
We've got to play a little bit of zone. You got to get them out of their rhythm, and that's what we've done. I hope we can. I told him, I said, can we defend and rebound like we did in Chapel Hill? Because I thought we did a good job guarding North Carolina. We're going to have to do that to be in this thing at the end today.
Yeah, good luck to you today.
Thanks, Bill.
You know, and Tony Bennett, Mike Brey, I mean, you've got 2 guys who just have a great perspective on things. And, you know, Mike Brey, for all the troubles that Notre Dame has had, they're just fighting just to get into the NCAA tournament. He takes things as they come. They've had injuries. They've had setbacks. I think they're going to play well today, but obviously a big-time challenge.
Taking off red shirts. 2nd year in a row with a thin roster. All right, when we return, Seth is breaking out his reporter's notebook, and we'll tell you about a special show that'll give you an official sneak peek into this year's tournament field. Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance, is sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit Progressive.com. And by Buffalo Wild Wings. Try our game day menu.
I'm Jack Salt. I go to the University of Virginia. My sister's a rower at Oklahoma University. I was born in London, but raised in New Zealand. I played volleyball growing up and soccer. My favorite restaurant in America. My dad's a chef, so I like to eat all kinds of food. My mom's an early childhood teacher. There you go.
How about that? His dad is not a chef at the restaurant that we, I guess, cannot name today. But you endorse playing multiple sports just like he did.
I do, and that makes you versatile on the basketball court. He's one of the best screeners in basketball, gets his guys open shots all the time at the three-point line.
Yeah, may not see it in the box score, averaging 5 and 5, but
does the little things.
Yeah, big things. All right, a reminder that we will have a special show here in 2 weeks, NCAA March Madness Bracket Preview. Bernard Muir, chair of the NCAA Selection Committee, will be here, and the NCAA will release an in-season peek at the 2019 bracket, announcing how the top 16 would be seeded if the tournament were to start that day. Of course, never one to second guess the process. How many bids for the ACC this year, Seth?
I prefer to first guess the process, actually. I mean, I think 8 is a pretty safe number given the depth of this league. The question is whether they can get a 9th team in there. Clemson has really not had a great start. Their best win came at home against Lipscomb. To me, the great question is going to be Pittsburgh. After the disaster of last year, now they're 2-4 in the ACC, but they do have home wins against Louisville and Florida State. They need to do something away from home. It's a long shot, but the fact that I would even mention them as a possibility is a great, great shock.
I agree. After last year, they really struggled. I'm going to give the ACC 9 bids. I think this is the best conference in college basketball. I think you got 8 teams that are pretty much going to be locks. I'm going to include Florida State in there with all the big dogs. And then I think Pitt's going to figure out a way. I really do. They got opportunities to get good wins on their resume, both at home and on the road, and they're going to find a way in the tournament.
So those 2 to go with the first 7 on the left-hand column there. Okay, right now we have a peek into some of the top storylines from around the country as Seth takes us inside his reporter's notebook. I've always wanted to kind of flip through that spiral
mess in there
that you keep around. Let's start with Michigan State. No Joshua Langford, yet they're still crushing it. So what's going on?
So I talked to Tom Izzo last night, and he told me that he's never had a situation with so much mystery around an injury. Josh Langford has missed the last 7 games because of an ankle injury. Now, there's no tear, there's no break, there's no stress fracture, there's no stress reaction, there's just lingering pain. He was in a boot, he's out of the boot, he's now shooting. It's hard to really put a timetable on this. What I can say is he's probably coming back at some point, not going to be anytime soon. We do have some time, but it's been a big mystery because they can't really pinpoint what's wrong with him other than he is doing some shooting and making progress.
When he gets back, they're only going to get better. They're really good right now with where they're playing. He's going to take them to a new level.
Now, for Kansas, Udoka Azubuike, we know is not coming back, but Silvio De Sousa might be?
So De Sousa has been tied into this FBI case and the trial in New York last fall. Kansas has withheld him from competition to this point. Last week, they finally applied for reinstatement. Now, that's the first time they've acknowledged that a violation took place to the tune of $2,500 to his guardian. Normally, these things are decided relatively quickly by the NCAA. They've been working with the NCAA on this. It's been a bit complicated, bit of a delay. My understanding through my sources, I think we're going to have a resolution next week, possibly early next week. They play at Texas on Tuesday, but they're at home against Texas Tech on Saturday. If I had to guess, I think there's a good chance De Sousa will be available for that game.
You'll be there.
If they want to continue their streak, they need De Sousa to bolster their front court depth.
All right. And then you have Tennessee atop the nation, barely holding on against Vandy because Vandy held on a little too much.
Well, there's a controversial call, and some of my Vandy friends on Twitter have been engaging in a civil dialogue. I want to take you back to the NCAA tournament last year, last March. First-round game, Purdue center Isaac Haas gets hooked, thrown to the ground. He fractured his elbow and was lost for the rest of the tournament. That's called a hook and hold play, and that had been a concern amongst coaches in the past. So last summer, the Rules Committee passed a rule. Anytime the refs see a hook and hold, they're supposed to automatically call a flagrant 1. They've been bombarded with video clips and clinics and the whole 9 yards. So now we go to that game at Vanderbilt. Vandy has a chance to knock off the #1 team in the country. However, late in the game, Cleavon Brown from Vanderbilt hooks and holds Grant Williams of Tennessee. Grant Williams could have hurt himself very badly on that play. Look at how he lands. This was a textbook. I spoke with J.D. Collins, who's a national coordinator of officials for the NCAA. He used the word textbook for the application of this rule to that play. Now, we can argue about whether it's a good rule and whether it's a fair penalty. We can have that argument. But as far as the referees in that situation had absolutely no choice but to properly and correctly apply the rule. It was a flagrant 1, and it was whistled as such. And even the SEC said they got it right.
That was an overreaction. That's a basketball play. When you're blocking out a guy like Grant Williams, you need to use your body. You need to go after the ball to try to get a big rebound down the stretch of the game. The previous play with Isaac Haas, there was malicious intent, but there's no malicious intent there. That's just going up, being strong, trying to get a rebound that you need for your team. The rule has to be adjusted to see what the intent of the player was and what the mindset was. That was a basketball play.
Yeah, got thrown off kilter on his way up. Bad landing and
unfortunate.
Big review in that game as well. Coming up next, the Oscar nominations were announced this week, and winning an Academy Award is nice and all, but we're going to be handing out the prestigious Seth Awards next. You are watching Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance on CBS.
Many of the biggest stars in golf have made their way to beautiful Torrey Pines for the Farmers Insurance Open. Full coverage later today on CBS.
All right, welcome back to Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance. And as they say in the entertainment field, the show must go on. Hollywood announced the Oscar nominations on Tuesday. So now, for your consideration, we put a cinematic spin on the best of college basketball this season as we get ready to announce the winners of the 2019 Seth Awards.
This is going to be great television. I am so excited. What a concept. The leading man in college basketball, our best actor, of course. This is an easy one, folks. Zion Williamson, the Big Z, down at Duke. A great scorer, rebounder, a terrific passer, 67% from the floor, 6th in the ACC blocks. He dunks it like Wally Serbiak, am I right?
No, never get up that high. An athletic phenomenon is taking college basketball by storm. The best college basketball player is a freshman since Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh, that's high praise. Okay, that's our leading man, a breakout star in college basketball. Got to go to Murray, Kentucky for Ja Morant. What a leap, literally, he has taken from his freshman to his sophomore year now. He is 8th in the country in scoring, but 1st in assists. That's hard to do at 24 points a game. And he can get up as well.
He can. And he reminds me of Russell Westbrook. He's had some comparisons. You jump over a guy in a game, watch out. You are a star.
All right, there you go. Maybe it's just called the Wally Awards.
Why not?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Best director, Rick Barnes at Tennessee. This is the same Rick Barnes who 4 years ago got fired by Texas, and now he has the Tennessee Volunteers as the #1 team in the country.
Doing an amazing job. How about your best marksman?
Marksman, how about our best Marcusman?
Oh.
Because Marcus Howard at Marquette, he is must-see television. Not going to dunk it like Zion, but he can shoot the pill like Wally. He's first in the Big East in scoring at 24 points a game. He's had 2 games this season where he scored 45, 53 points in a road-winning crate.
I like to call him a flamethrower. I couldn't shoot it like that. Best college basketball shooter I've seen since Shimmer Fredette.
Ooh. Big praise, big praise. All right, our best Cinderella story for you old people who remember Caddyshack. I think we take the Buffalo Bulls for granted at this point, what Nate Oates has done. Much the same team that beat Arizona in the first round last year. They are now 14th in the AP poll with an 18-2 record. What a stellar season they're having. And I know you love MAC teams.
Love those MAC Cinderellas. It's been 20 years since that school, Miami of Ohio, had their little run, and Buffalo due to do it again.
All right, the best screenplay right now is being written in Charlottesville, Virginia. Everybody wants to talk about last year with Virginia, that loss to UMBC. Here they are again, well-positioned for a #1 seed. The closer we get to March, the more they're going to have to answer this question. I think so far they've handled it beautifully, Adam, and they could win the national championship. What a great ending to the story that would be.
Yes, that was last year's drama. What about the best drama so far this year?
Oh, it's got to be in Westwood, California. What is going on at UCLA? They start the season ranked in the top 25, some high hopes in the Pac-12. They go on a bad string of losses. They lose at home to Liberty. Steve Alford gets fired, replaced by Murray Bartow. They win 3 in a row. Now they've lost 3 in a row. Now they're looking for a coach. Wally and I are available, guys. We can come out there and bail you out.
Sounds like a dumpster fire to me.
Nice.
Well, they can afford
That's
it.
another award.
And finally, we all know the sequel is never as good as the original, except in one case, The Godfather. And so the best sequel right now is being written by the godfather of college basketball. That is John Beilein. Here's a team that played for the national championship last year, lost 3 of their top 4 scorers, started the season unranked, and now look what they've done, one of the best teams in the country. They could be back in that final game again.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him against Virginia. That'd be something. Very good, Seth. After party? You too tired?
We're going to CBS Sports Network across the hall.
I got the late night at my house.
Oh,
yeah? All right.
Yeah.
Party while
we're done on cake.
Boy, that sounds like fun.
Heading out to Long Island. All right, much like the Academy Awards, football's biggest event is now only 8 days away, and CBS Sports has been there from the very beginning.
National curiosity about the Super Bowl may be high, with a team from Wisconsin meeting one from Missouri.
Hi, I'm Jack Buck. Hope you enjoy the Super Bowl from New Orleans here on CBS.
The Super Bowl #6, Super Bowl 8. And 10 years of Super Bowls are about to begin.
Super Bowls didn't happen overnight.
I'm Pat Summerall with Brookshire. Here's Marcus Allen.
Just win, baby.
Super Bowl #21.
This is as good as it gets. Doesn't get any better than this.
Welcome to the Super Bowl. JV along with Tony, Coach, Bart, and Boomer.
Back live now with the most valuable player, Terry Bradshaw.
We here at CBS Sports are pleased to welcome you to Super Bowl 35.
The Super Bowl MVP. Once again, it's Tom Brady.
Super Bowl 41.
Who is going to hoist the trophy?
CBS, we were there for the first and honored to be here for the 50th.
Are you ready? Another chapter to write. The Rams and the Patriots squaring off in Super Bowl 53, Sunday, February 3rd. Our coverage here on CBS begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern with that other pregame show and Adam Shine on Super Bowl Sunday, CBS Sports Network all week. You ready? Rams, Patriots. These are the first picks, I believe, on CBS Sports. Go ahead.
You know, I live in L.A., and I'm not one of these bandwagon fans. I've been cheering for the Rams since early December, okay? So I'm going, the Rams are going to win this game.
Because you had a fantasy team with Todd Gurley?
Yeah, I've been cheering for the Rams, too. Sean McVay, the Miami of Ohio grad, love and honor, go Rams.
Wow, 2 Rams picks.
And he is from Atlanta, was in the stands when they beat the Titans in the Super Bowl, so there you go. Getting excited. When we return, scores and highlights and a few final thoughts on today's matchup between Virginia and Notre Dame. Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance, is sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit progressive.com. Jersey Mike subs. Be a sub above. All right, welcome back again. Let's hit the scoreboard now. Number 2, Duke hosting Georgia Tech. Blue Devils getting a key weapon back. Trey Jones returning to the floor from that shoulder injury, so he's ready to go. But Seth, Zion Williamson did not want to be on the floor at this point.
No, he didn't. Look at this, everybody. America, make that viral. Post it. Instagram. The kids on Instagram now? I don't even know where they are.
Retweet it.
Snap, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I want that all over the place. Hey, given how bad Trey Jones' injury looked at the time, it's good news for Duke that he's gotten back, but he certainly has not ignited their offense.
Whoa, they're losing, by the way. Whoa.
Lowest number of points they've scored in any half this season.
How about that? So they got some coming back to do at home again. All right, meantime, we go to MSG, and it's the team in the home whites at MSG is winning today, Wally, but it's Maryland against Illinois.
The world's most famous arena. There's Jalen Smith with the early flush. Maryland's been playing good basketball, going to be a solid NCAA tournament team. DeSumo trying to get Illinois back into the game. They were down 8 at that point, but Maryland's Darryl Morsel gets the bucket, and Maryland holding on to a slim 4-point lead.
Yeah, Bruno Fernando, 10 points, 5 boards so far. He's been on fire all season long. Now, the SEC and Big 12 doing business today. This one, Iowa State and Ole Miss. Two teams weren't expecting to do much this year. Bree and Tyree, they weren't sure if he was going to play, Seth. He's nailing a 3.
Yeah, Ole Miss has lost 2 of their last 3. Good one we got going on in Oxford. That's Talon Horton-Tucker. The step back. Iowa State was up pretty big early. You're going to see Lindell Wigginton going to hit the offensive glass, put it in. He made the free throw. They're up by 10 at that point, and then Horton-Tucker again with the drive. However, Ole Miss has made a nice little push here at the end of the half. We got ourselves a good ball game going on right now. A lot of points on the board. I like to see that.
Yeah, Cyclones on top, and former Cavalier Mariel Shayok with 10 points. He's their leading scorer. In fact, the Big 12 is on top in all of the games against the SEC right now, and that includes Baylor at home against Alabama, coming in on a 4-game losing streak against SEC teams, but the Bears up by 6. TCU jumped out early. Quatnoy with 14 points, 32-20 the lead now. And as we get closer to tip-off between the Cavaliers and Fighting Irish, one more score for you. That is the Buckeyes trying to end their longest losing streak in 2 decades. But here is our eye test, guys, as we get set for tip-off.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. We think of Virginia as a defensive, slow-it-down team. They are the slowest team in the country. They've had some high-scoring games this year. I think Notre Dame certainly wants to make it an up-tempo game. But at the end of the day, Virginia bouncing back from that loss, I think they're going to win big.
I think Virginia wants up-tempo right now. I really do. I think they want to push the ball. DeAndre Hunter, that guy, is unguardable. I don't think Notre Dame has any matchup for them. But watch out for John Mooney. He's been playing some really good basketball and dominating the interior. Going to be a fun matchup between him and Jack Salt.
And one of the guys you saw for Notre Dame there was Chris Daugherty, the redshirt who came off last year, and they're expecting a lot of these young kids all of a sudden.
Well, they don't have a deep bench, but again, the slower pace should make that less of a factor. But you got to make shots.
Got to make shots, and about 8 minutes until tip-off here on CBS. Coming up, number 3, Virginia, and Notre Dame, Ian Eagle, and Bill Raftery with the call after this.